have like a little 6-house block neighborhood. It's only 6 houses, and so every house that had children, we all dealt with our children together, and they would come over each other's houses. So my son Ozell, his name is Ozell, he used to visit down at the neighbor's house who had a Rottweiler dog, and he always went down there. So the dog knew him. One day I was relaxing and watching TV, and Ozell was down the street visiting with my neighbor, and somebody was just bang, Miss Dee Dee, I mean banging on the door, and I jumped up, and I run to the door, and when I opened the door, my eyes fell down immediately at the young lady's feet. And the reason why was because she didn't have any shoes on, and it was snow outside. So I knew this must something must really have happened. And so I said, "What's going on? What's going on?" And she said, "Pongo bit Ozell, and Pongo is her Rottweiler." And so I was like, okay, I'll be down there. And when I shut the door, now remember, I had been lounging around and everything, so my 3-year-old son, he had on like whatever. I had to find his shoes, I had to put his clothes on, I had to put his jacket on. I was just, I couldn't control how I was feeling. I was thinking about my son Ozell being down there hurt, and at the same time trying to be here and preparing my 3-year-old to take him down there. And so I just got twisted, and so I would put his pants on backwards or put his shoes on the wrong foot. And so the Spirit came to me, the Christ came to me, and he said, "I'm down there with Ozell. Be calm. Go ahead on, take your time, get Joshua ready so that you can go down there." And that immediately, I just paused. I was able to take a deep breath and go ahead on at my own speed, where my mind and my thoughts and my actions were moving simultaneously, because they weren't at first. I was doing stuff so fast, it was going beyond my mind, and my mind was skipping to, what if he's hurt? What kind of hurt is he? He's been bit by a Rottweiler. This dog is huge. So I'm getting flashes in my mind. And so once God said that to me, I calmed down and my whole demeanor changed. I was able to put my son's shoes on and get him down there calmly. And I was also able to grab a hold of my emotions. And so finally I walked down the street. And when I walked in the house, and I remember the children and everything, they grew up together. So they're all in there crying, all the kids crying. And I'm looking at my neighbor, and she's looking almost terrified. And I get that, because my son was on her watch. No one likes for another person's children to get injured while they're on your watch. So I kind of had sympathy for her, because I didn't want her to think that, okay, this thing happened and now I'm looking at you in a certain way. No, things happen. And by me knowing that God has already took the case over, it allowed me to be cool all the way around. It allowed me to take the reaction that God got it. So anyway, I walked in, and she walked me to the bathroom, because Ozell was in the bathroom. And he was staring at his face. He was mesmerized by his face and crying. He was crying in the mirror, which you already swollen. You got a bite up under your lip, up here, the top lip. I don't know if it was this side or this side, but the dog bit you on the top lip. So this was out here like this. And he also bit him across the eye, across the little indentation across here. And I mean, it went from here all the way across there. And that was sitting open. And so that was, swollen and everything. And I'm looking at Ozell, and I notice how he's panicking. Of course he's panicking. Everybody in there was panicking. So I knew that I was going to have to make Ozell see this as not as serious as it looks, because it looked pretty bad. But I had to get him to be relaxed so I just said a little jokingly, he got you. I said, you look like you've been in a fight. I said, but everything is going to be okay. And I could tell that he was calm. And once he got calm, once I got him calm, once God calmed him down through me, we was able to do some things. So yeah. And so we all went to the emergency room. The neighbor and her son went with me and my son to the emergency room. And God had a Christian physician take care of my son. And I mean, he talked me through everything he was doing to my son, cleaning out the wound and everything and whatever. He told me that they normally don't close up dog bites. But after he cleaned it out and everything, he said, but I'm gonna put some stitches in here. And he just showed me how to take care of it, the ointment to put on it and things like that. And then he said, as far as the healing, he was like, because he's young, as time go on, that scar should start diminishing more and more. He said it might not leave all the way, but it should go down more and more. So anyway, after all that, I was very calm. By then, Ozell was calm too. And so we walked back out into the emergency room where my neighbor and her son was. And I just reassured her. I said, look, things happen. I do not blame you for what your dog did. I know if you could have prevented that, you would have. And so I just left it at that. Now, her and her husband did offer to pay the bill, which it didn't make sense because my son had insurance. And so we paid the bill, we paid the emergency bill, and we paid all of that. But they did offer, and so all of that was good. So anyway, as far as the healing process, but you see how my attitude went from frantic at first to God calming me down and getting me to react properly. Because when you're upset and when you're in a frantic, you cannot think properly. Trust me. Your thoughts are bouncing everywhere, and as your thoughts are bouncing everywhere, your action is doing the same thing. Isn't that something? But anyway, as far as the healing process, I had to keep ointment because he had stitches, and I had to keep it clean and keep ointment on it. And my son, I learned a lesson from my son, because he told me one day I was cleaning his wound, and he said, Ma, I wish you make up your mind. I said, about what? He said, either the wound is going to go, either the scar is going to go away or it's not going to go away. One day you say it is, and then the next day you say it's not. And then it dawned on me that yes, I was doing that. And at that time, I did not have enough, I didn't understand enough to know that that scar could have been gone, could have been cast out, could have been gone. God would have closed that up and it would have been gone. It's like, well, why don't God do that automatically? God is getting us involved in our everyday care as much as we can. We have to do our part and he'll do his part. And so I didn't have enough faith for that scar to completely go away, vanish. I really didn't. Not that the scar couldn't, it could have. I just didn't have enough understanding about God to trust him and to put that in his care. So anyway, he has a little scar from that, but I was so glad God was with me. I don't know what I would have done without God. Yes, I do. I would have panicked.